The Starship was abandoned for 10,000 years. Then it chose a human. The darkness of space stretched endlessly in every direction. Stars twinkled like scattered diamonds, and distant nebulae glowed in colors no human had names for. Among the silence and beauty, a small human vessel drifted carefully through the void. Its pilot, Aaron, a young explorer with restless eyes and a heart full of curiosity, studied the screens before him. He had been traveling through uncharted space for months. Most of the maps in the Galactic archives were incomplete, missing whole sectors. Yet this uncertainty excited him. While others feared the unknown, Aaron thrived on it. He had always believed that space held secrets meant for humans to discover, if they were brave enough to look. That day, his sensors flickered with an unusual signal. A massive object lay drifting in the emptiness, far larger than any freighter or warship he had seen. Its shape was elegant, unlike anything in human records. Smooth lines, almost organic curves, and a faint glow along the edges that pulsed softly, like a heartbeat. Aaron's heart raced. "What is that?" he whispered to himself. No one had reported a ship this size in this region of space. His vessel approached cautiously, scanning for life signs, energy output, or a distress signal. The results were almost eerie in their emptiness. No life, no energy signature, nothing, except the faint, almost imperceptible hum of the ship itself. It was alive, or at least it felt like it. Aaron maneuvered his ship closer, keeping the massive craft in view. It towered over his tiny vessel like a sleeping giant. Even from a distance he could see windows, corridors, and decks, but no movement. The hull's glow pulsed gently, as if it were breathing. This is incredible," Aaron muttered, awe breaking into a wide smile. 10,000 years abandoned, maybe more. No human had ever boarded a ship like this. Records hinted that the galaxy once had ancient explorers, civilizations far older than humanity, but most of their technology had been lost or destroyed. Yet here was a starship, untouched by time, waiting in the void. The docking bay opened as Aaron aligned his vessel. Not with any mechanical sound, but silently, smoothly. It was as if the ship knew he was there. He felt a strange warmth, a gentle pull in his mind. Curiosity and caution warred inside him, but curiosity won. He prepared to board. Stepping into the airlock, he felt the first strange sensation. The ship seemed to recognize him, welcoming him. The interior was pristine. Not a speck of dust, not a broken panel. Walls glowed faintly with soft light, and the corridors were wide and open, with designs that made Aaron's human brain ache with admiration. Everything was perfectly preserved, as if time had passed over it without touching. Aaron ran his fingers over a console. It activated under his touch, responding immediately. A holographic map appeared showing star systems, planets, and pathways that had been long forgotten. He realized this ship had been built for exploration, for traveling further than any human vessel could ever dream. "Whew, made you," Aaron whispered, half in awe, half in disbelief. For hours, he walked through the corridors, observing ancient alien writing, mysterious symbols, and technology that seemed impossible. Some consoles flickered as if awakening, responding to his presence. It was clear. This ship was not dead. It had been sleeping, and now it had noticed him. He paused in a large room that looked like a bridge, though larger and more magnificent than anything he had seen. View screens floated mid-air, showing stars in incredible detail. Energy lines pulsed along the walls, lighting the room in soft patterns that changed with his movements. Aaron felt a connection, subtle but undeniable. He pressed a control pad, and the ship hummed in response, almost like a purr. Aaron realized something that made his breath catch. The ship was alive in its own way. It wasn't just machinery. It was aware, and somehow it seemed curious about him. Over the next hours, Aaron explored more of the starship. Rooms revealed libraries of knowledge stored in glowing crystal panels. Holograms flickered to life, showing images of star systems, alien life forms, and strange machines. The history of a civilization long gone unfolded before his eyes. and he could feel the ship guiding him, pointing toward areas of interest. It was then he noticed something truly remarkable. The ship was scanning him. Not with weapons, not with mechanical sensors, but in a way that was almost personal. His thoughts, his emotions, even his curiosity, it all seemed visible to the ship. Every question he had, every hypothesis the ship knew, and in turn it responded, not with words, but with subtle movements, lights, and gentle vibrations that made him feel understood. Aaron smiled. "You're choosing me, aren't you?" he said softly. The ship responded with a pulse of light that traveled along the walls and ceilings, warm and reassuring. For the first time, Aaron understood something profound. This starship had waited a very long time. 10,000 years, maybe more, for someone like him. Someone human. Night came, or at least what passed for night in space. Aaron didn't sleep, and the ship seemed to share his excitement. Lights pulsed gently in rhythm with his heartbeat, almost like it was alive in the truest sense. He explored rooms that looked like gardens, preserved in zero gravity, with alien plants floating in midair. Some plants reacted to his presence, opening their flowers or changing colors, as if acknowledging him. Hours turned into a day, though time was meaningless here. Aaron discovered the ship's living quarters, though they were unlike anything humans had ever designed. Each room adapted to the person inside, reading his preferences and arranging itself in ways that made him comfortable. The ship did not speak, but it communicated, and Aaron was learning its language. The deeper he explored, the more he understood why the ship had been abandoned. It was not a warship, not a vessel of conquest. It was a guardian, an explorer, a collector of knowledge and life. And it had not chosen its pilot lightly. Humanity, in its curiosity, adaptability, and courage, had proven worthy. In the central chamber, Aaron found a console larger than a room. When he touched it, visions filled his mind. Simulations of galaxies, civilizations rising and falling, planets teeming with life, and ships like this one exploring the stars. He understood for the first time the mission the Starship had once held: to travel the galaxy, to observe, to learn, and to protect life. And now, after 10,000 years, it had chosen him. Aaron leaned back, overwhelmed but exhilarated. He realized he had two choices: leave and report this discovery to human authorities, or stay and learn from the ship, becoming part of something greater than himself. The decision felt obvious. Curiosity, wonder, and the longing to explore won over fear. He smiled and whispered, "Then I accept. I'll learn from you, and together we'll see the universe." The ship responded instantly, a soft pulse of light and a hum that resonated in his chest. It was alive. It had waited, and now it had chosen. Far beyond the reach of any human colony, among the stars that had not been charted in 10,000 years, a human and a starship began a journey together, a journey that would change both forever. Aaron took his first steps deeper into the vessel, unaware of the wonders and challenges that awaited. The ship's corridors seemed to open wider, almost breathing with excitement. Every panel, every light, every corner was alive with anticipation. For the first time in 10 millennia, the abandoned giant had a companion, and the companion was human. And somewhere deep inside the ship, a faint whisper seemed to echo, not in words, but in feeling. Finally, someone worthy. Aaron spent the first hours inside the starship, wandering through its endless halls, absorbing every detail. Every corridor and chamber seemed alive. Lights pulsed gently as he moved, almost like the ship was breathing with him. Alien symbols glowed softly along walls, shifting when he stared at them, forming patterns that seemed to respond to his thoughts. Yet even after hours of exploration, the most mysterious part of the ship remained: its central mind, an intelligence sleeping quietly at the ship's heart. It had not spoken, not with words, but Aaron could feel it. Its awareness brushed against his mind like a soft current, curious, cautious, and alive. Finally, Aaron reached a massive chamber at the center of the ship. It was circular, with a high dome ceiling that shimmered like liquid silver. In the middle stood a platform, smooth and metallic, covered in intricate carvings that glowed faintly under his touch. As he stepped closer, a surge of light filled the room, not blinding but warm, wrapping around him like a gentle embrace. The ship had noticed him. Aaron paused. His pulse quickened. He could feel something watching him, not as a machine, but as a mind, evaluating, learning. He took a deep breath and said aloud, "I don't know what you are, but I want to understand." There was no reply, at least not in words. Instead, the room shimmered, and visions filled Aaron's mind. He saw stars whirling, alien civilizations building magnificent cities, planets glowing with life, and creatures of unimaginable forms thriving under the light of distant suns. Then he saw ships like this one, sleek, vast, alive. They were exploring, cataloging life, observing civilizations rise and fall. And then, one by one, the ships vanished. Aaron realized with a chill that the Starship had been alone for thousands of years, drifting in silence after its companions disappeared. A deep understanding settled in his mind. This ship had waited a long time, perhaps too long. It had searched for someone worthy, someone who could awaken it fully and guide it once more. Aaron took another step forward, touching the central console. The carvings pulsed under his fingers. His thoughts, the curiosity, the wonder, the questions, flowed outward, and the ship responded. Soft pulses of light danced along the walls, forming patterns that seemed almost like speech. Aaron realized it was communicating not with words, but with ideas and feelings. He focused, thinking about exploration, about understanding life, about helping civilizations rather than controlling them. The ship pulsed faster, responding to his intentions. Then a soft vibration ran through the floor, the first direct acknowledgement from the sleeping mind. You understand me?" Aaron whispered, awed. "Even though we are different, you feel what I feel." The room shimmered, and more visions appeared, this time of challenges the ship had faced. He saw asteroid storms that threatened planets, energy fields that could erase civilizations, and mysterious phenomena that had baffled even the ship's advanced sensors. In each vision, the ship had made choices, careful, precise, but lonely choices. Aaron realized the ship had never found a being it could truly trust, not alien, not human, until now. For hours he walked through the visions, interacting with them as if they were puzzles. Each simulation required decisions, testing his reasoning, his empathy, and his patience. The ship did not explain the rules. It simply presented challenges. In one vision, a planet teetered on the edge of destruction. Aaron had to find a way to save its inhabitants without endangering others. He focused on solutions, balancing logic and creativity. The ship pulsed in approval as he acted thoughtfully. In another simulation, he faced alien creatures that communicated only through emotion. Aaron listened carefully, responding not with words, but with feelings, demonstrating empathy and understanding. The ship reacted with lights that danced across the room, warm and approving. Hours, or perhaps days, passed in this strange communion. Time seemed meaningless inside the Starship, yet each test, each simulation strengthened the bond between human and ship. Aaron understood the ship's purpose, to seek not strength or power, but character. Finally, the central chamber opened wider. Holographic panels floated in midair, displaying vast regions of the galaxy. Aaron's eyes widened as he realized these were not just maps. They were living simulations, stars and planets in real time, systems teeming with life or waiting to be explored.
Why me?" he asked aloud.
His voice trembled with awe. A ripple of light pulsed through the chamber. The ship did not answer directly, but Aaron felt warmth in his chest, an unspoken recognition. Humans, it seemed, possessed qualities the ship had never seen elsewhere: creativity, curiosity, and a stubborn kindness. Traits that mattered more than speed, strength, or raw intelligence.
Aaron began to experiment with the ship's controls.
Unlike human machines, this vessel responded to thought, emotion and intention. He imagined moving to a distant star system, and the ship shifted gently, humming in rhythm with his heartbeat. He imagined opening a panel or accessing a database, and it materialized before him. It was exhilarating, overwhelming, and unlike anything he had ever experienced. He laughed quietly, unable to contain his excitement. I think I'm starting to understand you. As he explored further, the ship revealed hidden chambers, labs with alien specimens preserved for millennia, libraries of knowledge encoded in light and energy, and observation decks that looked down upon planets like giant glass domes. Each discovery left Aaron breathless, but it also strengthened the bond between them. At one point, he entered a room that seemed like a garden. Alien plants floated in zero gravity, their colors shifting with his presence. He reached out and the plants responded, opening flowers or stretching tendrils as if to greet him. Aaron realized the ship had preserved life not just for study, but out of respect and care. This is beautiful, he whispered, feeling a connection to everything in the room. The ship pulsed softly, like a smile. By the end of his first cycle of exploration, Aaron had begun to see the Starship as more than a machine. It was a companion, a mentor, a guardian, and it had chosen him, not for his strength, or his fame, or his skill, but for something deeper: his heart, his curiosity, his willingness to understand and protect life. The final test came quietly. Aaron reached the ship's core, a glowing orb suspended in midair. When he touched it, the vision ceased, replaced by a calm, steady hum. The ship's presence was warm, almost tender, as if it were acknowledging that Aaron had passed its silent trials.
"You've seen what I have seen," Aaron said softly.
You've shown me what you've been waiting for, and I won't let you down. The ship responded with a surge of light that filled the chamber. For the first time, Aaron felt it fully awake. Not asleep, not dormant, but alive and aware, reaching out with a quiet, intelligent curiosity that matched his own. Then, slowly, the ship shifted, guiding Aaron toward the observation deck. Stars filled the windows, galaxies swirling in impossible beauty. The ship pulsed gently, almost like breathing, as if inviting him to begin a journey together. Aaron stood at the deck, staring at the endless universe. A strange sense of purpose filled him. He realized that this was not just discovery, it was partnership. Together, he and the Starship could explore the galaxy, witness wonders, and protect life in ways no human had ever imagined. He felt a thrill he could not describe. For the first time in 10,000 years, the Starship had found someone it could trust. And for the first time in his life, Aaron felt the weight and the wonder of a mission far greater than himself. You chose me, he said softly, and I choose you. The ship pulsed in response, a quiet acknowledgement that it had been waiting all this time for someone like him. For a human. As Aaron settled into the central chamber, he realized that this was only the beginning. The Starship had many secrets yet to reveal, many lessons to teach, and many journeys to take. And he, for the first time, felt that he was exactly where he was meant to be. Somewhere deep in the galaxy, a bond was formed that would last for centuries. A human and a Starship, separated by 10,000 years of solitude, had found one another, and together they were ready to face the wonders of the universe. And somewhere inside the Starship, a quiet thought seemed to ripple through its core. Finally, someone worthy. Aaron sat at the heart of the Starship, surrounded by panels of light that floated in midair. He had spent days, or perhaps weeks, learning the basics. Unlike any human ship, this one did not respond to buttons, levers, or voice commands. Instead, it responded to thought, intention, and emotion. If he imagined a destination, the ship understood. If he felt curiosity or excitement, the lights pulsed brighter. At first, Aaron had been cautious. The galaxy was vast, full of unknown dangers, but the Starship seemed to sense his hesitancy. Gentle pulses of light encouraged him, flowing along the walls like a river of trust. It was patient, teaching him how to move through space without fear. I think I can try, Aaron whispered, taking a deep breath. He focused on a distant star cluster, its pale light shimmering on the view screen. He imagined moving toward it. The ship responded. Slowly at first, then with more confidence. It lifted from the drift of space, its hull glowing as it propelled forward. Aaron felt a rush he had never known. Stars stretched into lines. Galaxies swirled past, and the vast emptiness of the universe became a playground for exploration.
This
"This is incredible," he whispered. The ship hummed in response, as if smiling. The first journey was not long, but it was full of wonder. They passed a small planet with rings of crystal-like ice. The ship slowed, allowing Aaron to study the phenomenon. He reached out, touching a holographic display, and saw the rings broken into thousands of tiny fragments, each orbiting perfectly. He realized the ship had preserved this moment for him to observe, a gift, a lesson in the beauty of the universe. The next stop was a nebula vast and colorful, filled with gases that glowed like liquid fire. The ship slowed as it passed through, and Aaron saw tiny motes of energy drifting like fireflies. When he reached out with his mind, the ship allowed him to touch them, to sense their energy. The feeling was strange, like connecting with a living thing, and Aaron laughed in delight. "You're amazing," he said softly. "I've never seen anything like this." The ship pulsed warmly, encouraging him to explore further. For days, Aaron practiced piloting the vessel. He learned that he could not only move it through space, but also interact with its systems in ways he had never imagined. The ship could scan entire star systems in moments, detect life forms hidden under layers of rock and ice, and even communicate with natural phenomena like solar winds or magnetic storms. One day they approached a small, uninhabited planet. Its surface was barren, rocky, and windswept. Yet the ship detected something unusual beneath the surface, a network of crystals that hummed with energy. Aaron focused, and the ship allowed him to see deeper, projecting an image of the underground formations. They were beautiful, delicate, and glowing softly, like veins of light running through stone. "These crystals, they're alive," Aaron said, awe in his voice. "Or at least, connected to life somehow." The ship pulsed in response, acknowledging his observation. Aaron realized that exploration was not just about finding life, it was about understanding it. And the Starship had chosen him precisely because he was curious, careful, and thoughtful. As their journey continued, Aaron discovered the ship's hidden abilities. He could manipulate gravity within the vessel, allowing him to float freely or anchor objects in place. He could create simulations to test hypotheses about planets, life forms, or energy systems. And the ship even seemed to anticipate his thoughts, offering guidance when he was uncertain. One evening, Aaron paused on the observation deck, staring at a distant galaxy spiraling in gold and blue. He felt a strange mixture of awe and humility. The universe was vast, full of wonders he could barely imagine. And yet, here he was, a human, piloting a ship abandoned for 10,000 years, exploring mysteries older than humanity itself. "You trust me," he said softly to the ship, "even though I'm human." The ship responded with a gentle pulse of light. Aaron realized that the trust was mutual. The Starship had waited millennia for someone like him, but he had also learned to trust it. Together they were something new, a partnership bridging the gap between human curiosity and alien intelligence. As days passed, Aaron began documenting everything. He recorded star systems, cataloged planets, and made notes about phenomena he had never seen before. He felt the weight of responsibility. This knowledge was precious, and the ship had entrusted it to him. He was not just a passenger, he was a custodian of the galaxy's secrets. Their exploration soon led them to a region of space filled with remnants of an ancient civilization. Massive ruins floated in orbit around dead planets, some of them broken into fragments, others surprisingly intact. The ship guided him carefully through the debris, highlighting areas of interest. Aaron walked through the virtual reconstructions the ship created. He saw how the civilization had lived, worked, and thrived, and he marveled at their ingenuity. He also noticed the signs of what had caused their disappearance: natural disasters, changes in their star, and perhaps choices that did not consider the balance of life around them.
You were built to prevent this, Aaron said quietly to the ship.
To observe, to protect, to guide. The ship pulsed in agreement. Aaron understood that its mission was greater than exploration. It was stewardship. And now, for the first time in 10,000 years, it had a partner capable of understanding and fulfilling that mission. One day, they encountered a small planet with signs of life hidden beneath thick clouds. The ship slowed, allowing Aaron to examine it carefully. Using its advanced sensors, he mapped the surface and scanned for intelligent behavior. There were none, only simple life forms, creatures adapting to the harsh environment. Aaron studied them, fascinated by their ingenuity, their survival strategies, and the subtle balance of their ecosystem. "You're teaching me," Aaron said softly. "Not just about space, but about life itself." The ship pulsed brightly, as if pleased. Aaron realized that this partnership was as much about learning from the ship as it was about exploring the galaxy. Each discovery, each observation, each challenge strengthened their connection. After weeks of travel, Aaron began to feel a deeper bond with the vessel. He no longer saw it as a machine or even as a tool. It was a companion, a mentor, a friend. It had chosen him for his heart, his curiosity, and his compassion. And in return, he trusted it completely, allowing it to guide him to wonders he could never have imagined alone. One evening, as they drifted near a cluster of newborn stars, Aaron sat on the observation deck and closed his eyes. The ship hummed softly around him, sensing his calm and contentment. He reflected on how far he had come, from a small human exploring uncharted space to the pilot of a starship abandoned for 10,000 years. He smiled, feeling both humility and excitement. The galaxy was vast, full of mysteries, and they had only just begun. Together, he and the ship could explore, learn, and protect. And perhaps they could awaken others like it, ancient vessels waiting for someone worthy to guide them. The hum of the ship became a steady, comforting rhythm. Aaron realized that he was no longer alone. For the first time in his life, he felt that he was exactly where he was meant to be, piloting the starship, exploring the galaxy, and learning the secrets of life, guided by a mind far older and wiser than his own. And somewhere deep within the starship, a thought pulsed quietly but clearly. We are ready. Together. Aaron opened his eyes and gazed at the stars. The first journey had been incredible, but it was only the beginning. The galaxy awaited, full of wonders, mysteries, and life, and he was ready to discover it all, not as a human alone, but as a partner of a starship that had been waiting 10,000 years for him. As the vessel surged forward, crossing light years in moments, Aaron felt a thrill he could not describe. Every star, every planet, every unknown corner of space was a promise, and together, he and the starship would keep that promise. The first journey was over. The adventure had only just begun. The galaxy stretched endlessly before Aaron and the starship, alive with stars, planets, and nebulae of unimaginable beauty. After weeks of exploration, Aaron had grown confident in piloting the ancient vessel. Yet he felt a growing sense that the ship had not only chosen him for exploration, it had a purpose, a mission it had waited 10,000 years to complete. One day, while scanning a cluster of stars at the edge of a forgotten sector, the ship responded differently than before. Its lights flickered rapidly, pulsing like a heartbeat in urgent rhythm. Aaron felt a surge of energy beneath his feet, the ship vibrating with anticipation. "What is it?" he whispered, his eyes wide. The ship responded by projecting a vast holographic map across the bridge. At first it seemed to show empty space, distant stars, and isolated planets. Then patterns emerged, trails of ancient energy, paths across the galaxy, points of interest glowing faintly like beacons.
They're other ships, Aaron said slowly, realization dawning. Other starships like you.
Ancient, lost, abandoned, like you were.
The ship pulsed in affirmation.
Aaron's mind filled with visions of civilizations long gone, of vessels that had once explored the stars with the same purpose, to observe, protect, and learn. But over time, each had fallen silent, leaving only ruins in their wake. And the ship, this one, had survived, waiting for someone who could awaken its full potential. Aaron understood immediately. These ships were not dangerous. They were guardians, designed to protect life across the galaxy. But they had been abandoned because no being had proven worthy to lead them. Until now. The ship pulsed again, and Aaron felt a deep connection, almost like the voice of an ancient mind speaking directly into his heart. You are the one who can guide us. A shiver of excitement ran through him. Guide them. All of them? He whispered. The weight of responsibility was immense, but he felt ready. He had learned patience, empathy, and understanding from the ship. He had discovered wonders, seen life thriving in unimaginable ways, and learned the delicate balance of the universe. I can do this, he said aloud, determination rising in his voice. With you. The ship responded with a gentle wave of light that spread across the bridge. It was not just acknowledgement. It was pride. Together, Aaron and the ship began their first coordinated attempt to awaken the others. The Starship projected energy pulses across the cluster, reaching out to the dormant vessels. Each response was slow at first. A faint glow appeared on one, then another, and then another. Aaron realized that the ships were not simply machines. They were intelligent, waiting for a signal they could trust. It's working, Aaron breathed, his eyes shining with wonder. You're letting them know that someone is worthy. Days passed as they traveled through the ancient network. The Starship guided him, teaching him how to interact with each vessel. Some were massive, as large as cities, with interiors preserved in crystalline chambers. Others were smaller, faster, their lights flickering like tiny stars. All responded to Aaron's presence, each pulsing and humming with energy, reaching out to him for guidance. He began to realize the true power of humanity, not through strength or technology, but through creativity, compassion, and understanding. These were qualities the Starships recognized as rare, and they trusted him because he displayed them. One evening, they approached the largest of the ancient vessels. It had been drifting in deep space for tens of thousands of years, its hull darkened and silent. Yet as Aaron's starship drew near, it pulsed faintly, sensing his presence. "You're enormous," Aaron whispered, awe in his voice. And waiting. The ship guided him through the interface, teaching him how to awaken it without fear. Aaron reached out mentally, projecting thoughts of curiosity, care, and respect. Slowly, the giant vessel responded. Lights flickered, corridors hummed, and the ship seemed to breathe for the first time in millennia. Aaron felt a rush of emotion.
It's alive, and we're waking it together.
The ancient vessel responded with a pulse so strong that it reverberated through his own ship. For the first time, he felt the sheer scale of what they were doing. These were not just ships. They were guardians of life, waiting for someone to unite them. Over the next weeks, Aaron and his starship awakened more of the ancient fleet. Each new ship added its own voice, its own presence, expanding their awareness and knowledge. They were no longer alone in the galaxy. They were the beginning of a network of guardians, a living bridge between life and exploration. Through it all, Aaron realized something profound. The starships did not choose a pilot for power. They chose one for heart. The ability to understand, to protect, to create balance. Humans were unique because of their curiosity, empathy, and courage. Traits that no other species had consistently shown. The network of awakened vessels became a family of sorts. Each ship had knowledge, wisdom, and memories older than humanity itself. Yet they deferred to Aaron and his starship, trusting his judgment, inspired by his ingenuity. Together they began traveling to sectors long forgotten, restoring balance, protecting life, and documenting wonders never before seen. One day, while exploring a distant system, they discovered a planet unlike any other. Its surface shimmered with light, its oceans reflected the colors of the nearby stars, and its skies were alive with flying creatures that seemed to dance in harmony. The planet was uninhabited by intelligent beings, yet every life form was thriving, balanced perfectly within its ecosystem. Aaron floated in awe, feeling the presence of the ancient fleet around him. This is what we're meant to do, he said softly. To protect, to explore, to understand, not to dominate, not to destroy. The ships pulsed in agreement. The network of guardians, long silent, had found its purpose again. And a human, curious, empathetic, and brave, had guided them back to it. Over time, Aaron became a legend among the stars, not because of battles or conquest, but because he had united a network of ancient intelligence, protecting life and knowledge across the galaxy. He traveled from system to system, always exploring, always learning, with his starship at his side. Together, they discovered wonders, preserved life, and inspired the universe itself. One quiet moment, as they drifted past a glowing nebula, Aaron looked at the ship beside him. Its lights pulsed softly, almost like a heartbeat. He realized that they had changed each other. The ship had given him purpose, knowledge, and connection, and he had reminded it of the importance of trust, empathy, and curiosity. "You chose me," he whispered, a smile on his face. "And together we've changed the galaxy." The ship pulsed warmly, and for the first time, Aaron felt that the universe itself seemed alive with possibility. In the end, it was not power that mattered. It was understanding, care, and the courage to explore the unknown. Humans had shown that even small, fragile beings could shape the future of the galaxy. Not with violence or dominance, but with curiosity, empathy, and heart. And as Aaron piloted the starship toward the distant horizon with the ancient fleet moving in silent harmony behind him, he knew that this was only the beginning. The galaxy was vast, full of wonders waiting to be discovered, and for the first time in 10,000 years, someone was ready to guide them. A human. A starship. Together, unstoppable in their curiosity and compassion, guardians of life, explorers of the unknown, and partners in a universe waiting to be understood. The stars stretched before them, endless and inviting, and Aaron smiled. The journey was infinite, and for the first time he understood that some of the greatest adventures were not about conquering, but about discovering, and sharing that discovery with the universe itself. And somewhere deep within the network of ancient vessels, a quiet truth pulsed. Humanity, finally, was worthy.